So somebody in the FreeCAD Reddit asked about constructing an icosahedron in a FreeCAD, knowing that he was starting from a video of a guy, Paul Robinson, doing those geodesic spheres in SketchUp. And the question is, can we do the same in FreeCAD? Of course we can do the same in FreeCAD. You can do anything in FreeCAD. Well, except nature, shapes, and everything like that. But everything that is geometric and can be, I would say, man-made in a way, you have a good chance to ask for it. Okay, so how do we do that? Very easy. We start from a sketch, as usual. I will start a sketch from the XY plane because I know that an icosahedron, okay, has, when you look it from the top, it has a pentagon style on it. So that means that if you want to do something like that and to, for example, make sure that I will one side on one axis, and I will say that these dimensions will be like 10 millimeters, okay, for example. That means that I have this kind of thing here, which is I would say the top view in a way. So I need to create my first face in a way. So I have my sketch here. That's good. The reasons why I've done that is that I wanted to have this elongation here in order to build my first face. So how do I do that again? I create a sketch not in the object XY, but in the XZ plane. And what I want to have is that I want to have this point here of interest. And then I will create something that will go from here to here. I will say that in fact this and this will be vertically aligned. That in fact I will also, in that sketch here, I will name that dimension here. So I will say that that's the side. Okay. I'm so excited that I forgot all my tricks about making sure that we have named properly things like that and whatever. So, and this is face edge SK. Okay. So I have the pentabase SK, I have the face edge SK, and I know that in fact this I want it to be exactly the same than the pentabase SK constraints side. I do not want to compute anything. Okay, so now I have that, and in fact what I will do is that I will do a circle from here to here in order to make sure that those two things are fully, I would say, are on the circle that is of interest. Okay, so now I have my first, I would say, sketch in a way. And what I would like also to have is to have that dimension here. Of course, that's a reference. And I will penta Z. Okay. You will understand why I'm doing that. So here I will create, copy, paste the same thing here. Okay. But in fact, that placement here, I will put it in the position that will be in the Z side, the face edge, constraints, whoops, Z, okay. And what I can do with that is that I will take the same thing, but in fact, I do not need none of them over there. Okay. I could have used also, I would say, constraints, and but that's a little bit what I want. So now you begin to feel that I have a first phase that is beginning to be created. on that first face should be really at the correct, I would say, height in order to create the sphere centered at the origin. So now I need to create, in a way, the last sketch. So what I will do is that I will create uh, a, a sketch onto those two edges here. Okay. So in fact, how do I do that? I do that like that, and then I select another point, and I create here a plane by 3 points. That should be okay. And now you can see that I have my 3 points here. Why am I doing that? That's in order to be able to, let's say, make sure that I have a correct surface. So here what I will do is that I will do that, 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 and that. And now if I close that, I can, from that sketch tree, which is a face sketch, I here that's the face horizontal edge SK. Okay, now I have my face SK, and of course I can ask, for example, in the part workbench to create a face out of that. So that's my first face in a way. Why I have created this sketch here, it's because if you use, for example, this in order to, whoops, sorry, these two, in order to create, for example, a face like that, a ruled surface, this one, from some reason, is not completely straight. And in fact, if you want to create, for example, you know, working planes on that, it's a little bit tough. So I'm not doing that like that. So I do not use that rule surface. I'm using really that face, which is completely, of course, parametric in a way. So I have that. So once I have that, I'm pretty good to go. So the guy was asking, what are the possibility to do rotations? So here again, I will be a little bit lazy. So for example, I will recreate again in the XZ plane something in order to create the point of my center. So of course I've cheated a little bit because I know that the point of my center was going to be in the center of the universe, but in fact I will do it a little bit like way. So I've used the, I would say, middle constraints. This I want that to be a geometry, and then I want to create a point here. That is my point of origin. And now I have my point here, which is, of course, the same than the origin, but in any case, you want to be more generic than that. That's going to be origin point sk. Okay, I have my face, I have my point of origin. Now, in fact, in order to do rotations, you have two ways of doing that in FreeCAD. One way is a little bit more cumbersome than the other, and everything's going to be in the draft workbench from now on. So the problem is that there is a rotate here. Of course, you can use a point of origin in order to do the rotation. The problem is that you need to have a proper working plane, and I've discovered that when I wanted to, for example, reorient 3D views that were slightly offside in terms of horizontal line or something like that. So, of course, as you know, I'm building plane. But nevertheless, so how do I build a working plane? Well, that's pretty easy in a way. So what I will do is that I will have to create a sketch first in order to serve as the basis of my plane. So if I go back to the part, what I will do is that I will select that point here and that point here. I will create a plane here saying that it's going to be O normal X. Okay. And for example, I can draw anything out of that. For example, a centered circle. Okay. With a radius kr of, let's say, 2 millimeters or something like that. Okay, anyway, but that's just to have something that will be used as a basis. So now, if I go to the draft workbench, I have finally my sketch here, which is a rotation plane, SK. Okay. So if I take that and I'm asking to select the plane with respect of that rotation, plane SK, you will see that if I'm asking to see that plane, it's going to be like that. It's going to be the good plane that will go from the center of my figure, okay, to this point here. So now I will not ask for the working plane anymore, okay. What I will do simply is that, and I will not ask for this rotation plane anymore. I have the working plane which is in good shape, so I can use the rotate tool. So what I will do is that I will take that, use the rotate tool to say that the point will be this one, okay, and then I'm asked to select the starting point here, which is going to be this one, and the end point, that's going to be this one. I should create a copy, sorry, that's going to be this one. And all of a sudden, I have a face here, which is a copy of my first face, and which is in the correct orientation. The problem is that in order to do that, I had to do my rotation plane, so that's a little bit too much. So I will not do that. Okay, I will use the placement tool. So the placement tool is a little bit more easy, but you need to know the number of degrees that you want to rotate things. So what will I do here? First of all, I will go to my face. For the sake of it, I will put that into a compound in order to have, let's say, so it's going to be my face CO, my face compound here. Okay. And since I know that it's 72 degrees, it's going to be fairly easy. So I will take my, I have my origin point somewhere. Okay. So I have my origin point and I have my compound face. So if I have my compound face on my original point, I will be able to use the placement. So I will put that a little bit like that. Okay. So I'm selecting my face. I go into the draft workbench. I'm creating a compound. On this compound, I will place it correctly. So what do I do for that? I do a placement. Sorry, I do a placement. I'm selecting my points or my axis of rotation. So for this, I click here on the first point. I click here on the second point. I say those are my axes here. Then I will say that I will go for 72 degrees of rotation. And I say, OK. Okay, there is something that I do not understand in the placement tool is that you need to select the thing. Nevertheless, you need to go to placement. Then you select your 2 points for the axis, this point and this point here. Sorry, selected point. You say 72. You re-click on the object that you want to change and you click OK. And now we have our first, I would say, our first rotated face, which is exactly at the correct location. So we have our two first phases. Now again, what I will do is that I will take this one here, I will clone it, okay, not asking for to see the first one, and then I will do exactly the same. So I will do to edit, placement, I will select my points of interest. Sorry, I will apply incremental charges, sorry. I will take my point of interest here because I want to do increments with respect to what I've done. So, sorry, it didn't took my 2 points. Selected points, now it's good. And now I will go again at 72. Selecting that. Okay. So now I have these 3 here. Now I will take this one and I will create again a clone. And now this one I will also go, let's say I can go either from here or from here, whatever, so I don't know. Okay, so I'm selecting my point here. Let's see where I am, sorry. I will go from this point here, okay. So I will go, I'm selecting this. I will go for placement. I will apply incremental change again. I will go from this point to this point, selecting my point, doing my 72 degrees, and clicking OK. And I forgot again. So, edit, placement, incremental changes, this to this, selected point, 72, re-click on the object, and go for OK. Okay, now I finally have all of them. And in fact, I could create now another compound, for example, part compound. And that compound, I can go to, I would say, the draft workbench again, in order to do the polar array. The polar array with 5 elements seems okay. And if I click on OK here, I have my polar array, which is here. Okay, so this is the final icosahedron. So I can say icosahedron. Now, it seems to be good, but it's not completely good because you cannot really convert that into a solid. So that's a little bit a problem for me that likes to print, okay, things. Nevertheless, I've done that in such a way that my face here is a compound. So that means that if I go, for example, to this face here, and for example, I am creating a sketch on that face, and that I will do, for example, a little circle here, KR of 2 millimeters for one, well, 2 millimeters, I don't care. Okay, click on close. And now this sketch I'm extruding from 1 millimeter, for example. The good news is that if I take my compound here, and instead of simply having the face, I have both the face and the extrude here. Okay. Of course, my compound has changed a little bit. Okay, and so that means that also, if I'm asking to recompute everything, my icosahedron has changed a little bit. So that's how you would do that. Okay, that was a fun exercise. Thank you. Bye.